It's showtime. What's up, buddies? What the gym? And I've been waiting a while to do this live stream, and hopefully you all enjoy it. And that is the ranking of the Beatles studio albums, and also my top 10 songs by the Beatles. I've already ranked the studio albums before, but that was a couple of years ago. I think it was a couple of years ago. So I'm going to go ahead and rank them again, as my opinion on some of these albums have changed in the last year and a bit. And then they're going to go through a top 10 Beatles songs. They're going to go through honorable mentions, which are going to be my 10th favourite Beatles songs, from my 20th to my 11th favourite, and then we go in depth with my top 10. And yeah, really looking forward to this one. I've got my favourite Beatles album behind me, as well as my favourite Beatles compilation as well. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. And we've already got a live stream comment with something about the chat. This was about, I think this was several hours ago. Lennon put this, but he said I'm not sure if I can watch this live, but I definitely check it out, and I'll give my choices after it's live. I think is what I'm saying. Yeah, he's really looking forward to it. Hopefully you will enjoy this, Leonard. We've got Mike. Hello, Mike. It's the legend. Hope you're doing well, mate. I'm doing good, thanks. Hopefully you're doing good as well, Mike. But I guess we'll go ahead and rank these Beatles studio albums on TierMaker. And I'm actually using a different webcam. I'm using the webcam that's on my laptop. I'm not using a different one, but we're just going to try it out with using the webcam on the laptop to see how it goes for this live stream. But let's share the screen. Hopefully you will be able to see me in a sec. But there we go. So hopefully that should all be sorted. So we're going to write this Beatles studio album on TierMaker. So we'll do the Beatles album in chronological order. We've got S tier, happy for the perfect albums. A will say are the amazing ones. B are great. C are good. Actually, so S is perfect. A is great. B's good. C's okay because that's mediocre. And D's bad. So we'll start off with Please Please Me, the Beatles debut. And a really great debut album, A tier for me. My favourite track from the title track, Please Please Me. Yeah, brilliant debut. Yeah, so Please Please Me. Then we got With the Beatles. I think this is great. Well, definitely not as great as Please Please Me. I definitely prefer Please Please Me, but I'm just not too crazy on the second album. But there are some incredible stuff on that second side, though. But yeah, that's With the Beatles, another great Beatles album. And then Hard Day's Night. The first S tier ones. It was a perfect album. Like my favourite track of the Beatles is what I mean. And my favourite track from Hard Day's Night is And I Love Her. And then we've got Beatles to Sail, another great one. I do prefer it to With the Beatles, but I do prefer Please Please Me. And I think when I did this a couple of years ago, I prefer With the Beatles to Beatles Sail. But now I prefer Beatles Sail. I think from that one, it used to be 8 days a week. Now it's I'll Follow the Sun. Okay. Help. That's the S tier one. But I do prefer. Oof. Yeah, I do prefer Help to High Night. They're both pretty neck and neck, though. I love both of those albums. My favourite track from that one is Yesterday. Brilliant Beatles song. And then I'm going to go on to Rubber Soul, the S tier. That's my favourite of those S tier ones. So that's what Cam sorted. The webcam we sorted that earlier. But it's just a microphone sorted now.
I'm hoping that sorted it.
Yeah. We've got Rubber Soul, one of my favourite albums of all time. It's my favourite track from that was In My Life. I think this is John Lennon's best Beatles album. I think it's a brilliant album. Then we're gonna have Revolver, S tier one. But when I first heard Revolver, I wasn't too crazy on it. I thought it was great, but I didn't think it was a perfect Beatles album. But the more I listen to Revolver, the more I love it. It's my second favorite Beatles album, so it's gonna go with S tier for me. I just wasn't too crazy in the songs Tomorrow Never Knows, and I don't think I was too crazy on Love You Too, but I love those tracks now. Again, another S tier. I do prefer it to Hard Day's Night. I do prefer it to Help. I prefer Rubber Soul to Sergeant Pepper's. Sergeant Pepper's my favourite track. From that one, my favourite track from Revolvers Here, There, and Everywhere. Sergeant Pepper's is A Day in the Life. An epic album closer for that album. Then we've got Magical Mystery Tour. I know quite a few people that prefer this to Sergeant Pepper's, but I'm one of those people that do prefer Sergeant Pepper's. I do think it's an amazing album. We're going to put that here. The best year ones so far. It's still a really fantastic album, but I'm not too crazy. Flying Blue Jay. I don't mind Flying as much as they used to, though. Then we've got the Beatles double album, the Beatles White Album. This is going to go in A tier for me, but it's my favourite of the A tier ones. Favorite track on that one isn't actually one with guitar Gently Weeps, which is probably most people's choices. For me, it's actually Dear Prudence, the second track on the album. Then we've got Years of Lean. This is the only CD one. I just think it's okay. I really like the original stuff. My favourite song on the album is All You Need Is Love, but favourite original track from it is Holy Bulldog. That's probably It's All Too Much, the George Harrison track. My favourite track from Magical Mystery Tour is also All You Need Is Love. Then we've got Let It Be. This is a really great one. I prefer it. To prefer it towards the other ones except for the White Album in A tier. Favorite track from Let It Be is the title track. Really, really great album there. And my favourite Beatles album, my favourite album time. My favourite track in this one is Golden Summers, Carry the Way to the End. If you can't count that, then I'll go with Something by George Harrison. This is of course going to go S tier, and it's going to go right in front of all the others. This I would put in an S plus tier. I put these three in S plus tier. Revolver, Rubber Soul, and Abbey Road. Pretend there's another tier. Those three albums are in that tier. There we go. Really pleased with how that looks. No good Beatles albums, no bad. Just one okay, 5 great, and then 7 perfect ones too. Pretty much about half of their albums. Awesome. I guess stop screen sharing. Yep. There we go. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Hello, Brian. Nice to see you here. But Jason, lots of S tier albums, there sure are. Yeah, lots of S tiers. So I put most everything on S tier except Here's Submarine with the Beatles and Beatles a Sail. Yeah, I can understand why you went with those ones. That was the same for me. I think we put Please Please Me in there. So yeah, I'd had Please Please Me in A tier. Really good ranking. Abbey Road is number 1 for me. Awesome to see, Brian. That's cool. It's your favorite Beatles album. So I guess I might as well get to it now with my top 10 Beatles songs. But let's go through all the mentions, which are my 20th to my 11th favorite Beatles songs, and I'll go in depth with my top 10. And if you're watching this, Jason, I watched some of your live stream on your top 10 Beatles songs. I've not finished it yet, but when I have finished that live stream, I'll leave a comment on it. But here we go. Currently looking at the top 50 Beatles songs. So my number 20 is, let me just count it in my head. So we've got 11, 12, well, not in my head. I'm counting it out loud now. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So, yeah, here we go. So my number 20 is Dear Prudence. My number 19 is my dad's favourite Beatles song, and that's Eleanor Rigby. My number 18 is Norwegian Wood the Spur Has Flown. 17, Penny Lane. 16, Long and Winding Road. 15, And I Love Her. 14, Nowhere Man. 13, Across the Universe. Number 12, She Loves You, which I think used to be my favourite Beatles song at one point. And my number 11 is All You Need Is Love. So now we'll get to it with my top 10 Beatles songs. In case you don't know this by now, the Beatles are my favourite band of all time. Arguably the greatest band of all time. Jason says cool. Yeah. And if you've not seen Jason's ranking of his top 10 Beatles songs, he did that as a live stream, and yeah, please go ahead and check that out on his channel. Jason, the old millennial. But my number 10 is the one and only Hey Jude. That's a single from 1968. It's a fantastic Beatles song, and I think there was a time before I really got into the Beatles that this was my favourite Beatles song. It's still really fantastic. It's out of a 10. This is probably the one I listen to the least though, which is probably why it's really number 10. And also the song is very long with the na na part, but it's a very anthemic part with that with the na nas, and yeah, it's still a brilliant part to the song. I love the orchestration in that part, and Paul McCartney does some of his better vocal performances in that bit. I think it's some of his best piano playing as well, and I love the over messaging of the song, the lyrics about John Lennon's son Jude, and just Paul writing the song about him, just saying that everything's going to be okay. Yeah, I think it's just a brilliant uplifting song, and yeah, it's a very epic song. And Jason mentioned in his live stream that it would be cool this was in the White Album. I have to agree. I think this would have been pretty cool in the White Album. Get rid of Revolution 9 and put Hey Jude. We've already got a Revolution song on the White Album. But yeah, Hey Jude's my number 10. That's a fantastic song. Yeah, that's it. 19. I can't believe it. The Rookies are in number 19. Yeah, I know it's one of your favourite songs of all time, Dad. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's all I'm going to say for Hey Jude. Just a fantastic, iconic Beatles song. And number 9 is my favourite song from Sgt. Pepper's, and that's A Day in a Life. It's an epic conclusion, and it's a Drew Lennon and McCartney collaboration here. I'll start off with the John Lennon stuff, and yeah, I love the lyrics, and he got the lyrics from just reading newspapers, and yeah, it sounds great here. It's got fantastic drumming by Ringo Starr, and I think John does great acoustic guitar playing as well. I love the orchestration when it goes really quiet and then ends really loud. And when I first heard it, I wasn't a fan of that bit. I thought it's ruining a really good song here, but now I absolutely love the bit. It just adds to the greatness of the song. And there you got Paul McCartney's bit after the alarm clock, and yeah, Paul sounds great, and I do love that part. But I think John's part is the better part of him and Paul here. I love the way the song concludes when you got. I think there's a couple of Beatles as well as a couple of other people just doing the same chord on the piano. Yeah, I love that part when they're all pressing the same key on the piano. Yeah, it just sounds amazing. It's got like weird, like sort of ringing noise at the end of the song, which I find quite cool. And yeah, it's just all around brilliant song and very creative and very unique. There's not really many songs like A Day in a Life. Yeah, I know a lot of people have this as a favorite Beatles song, but it's not my favorite. It's my number 9. Still a fantastic song though. What I was saying about Hey Jude from Ed Sheeran. Hey Dude, yeah, for the film yesterday. Ed Sheeran said, "Why don't we call the song Hey Dude?" Or so you can know, do not call this song Hey Dude. Freaking Ed Sheeran. So, but yeah, A Day in the Life is just a really epic song, and yeah, it's a fantastic one. And when I first went to the Cabin Club, I asked one of the people that worked there what his favourite Beatles song was, and he said Day in the Life. My number 8 is my second favourite George Harrison song of all time, and that's Here Comes the Sun off the Road from 1969. There's going to be a couple of Abbey Road songs appear here, but yeah, it's a brilliant song. Absolutely love it. Very uplifting, and it's the number 1 most streamed Beatles song on Spotify. It's currently got 1 billion streams, which I think it's just recently got to 1 billion streams, which I find pretty cool. Yeah, just a brilliant song. I love the acoustic guitar playing and the harmonies and the backing vocals in this song. Yeah, it's just a very happy song, and if you're feeling down, listen to this song, and yeah, it just makes you feel really happy. And yeah, it's really realised over messaging to this song. I love the music video that's been out for a few years. Yeah, it's just a classic Beatles song, and I can see why so many people love it. We've got Norman Riley tonight. Nice to see you on my live streams, Norman. Hope we're doing well. He said, just hanging, enjoying the stream on my day off. Hope you're enjoying your day off, Norman. So far, your list is close to mine. Yeah, I think we both. I think the 3 I mentioned so far have all been in your top 10, Jason. Yeah, there they have. But my number 7 is my favourite George Harrison song of all time, Another song from Abbey Road, and that's Something. Yeah, it's a fantastic song. And when I was younger, I heard the guitar part of the song, but I didn't know the rest of it. When I found out it was by the Beatles, I was thinking that's awesome. I didn't know the Beatles came up with that guitar part. But yeah, it's a brilliant song. George Harrison does some of his best guitar work here, and some of his best vocals and lyrics. Yeah, it's just a brilliant love song. And Frank Sinatra famously said that it's the best Lennon McCartney song, but he's wrong there. It's a George Harrison song, not John Lennon and Paul McCartney. And then Ringo Starr's drumming on this, and I love Billy Preston's keyboard playing. Yeah, it's just a brilliant rock song. And I played the song in college for so many people to listen to, but they weren't really too crazy on it, which I was quite surprised. I was thinking this is one of the greatest songs of all time. How can they weren't a fan of it? I was one that really loved it in that class. But yeah, I absolutely love this song. It's a classic Beatles song, and yeah, it's one. None of these songs I'll ever get tired of listening to. Yeah, it's a brilliant song. Not much else to really say for my number 7. And then we'll move on to our number 6, which is my favourite song from Revolver from 1966, and that's Here, There, and Everywhere. When I first heard this song, I thought it was really good. And then when I revisited the Revolver album, I was thinking I forgot about this song, and I forgot how awesome it is. Yeah, it's a brilliant song. One of my favourite love songs, and I first heard it when I didn't even realise it was by the Beatles. I first heard it in the sitcom Friends, when I was getting into that about 5 years ago. But yeah, I love the song. I love the harmonies and the vocals on it. I think Paul was trying to do Brian Wilson with the song, and it's definitely got a very Beach Boys vibe about it. I wonder if Brian Wilson has sung this song in his solo work. I might have to look into that. But yeah, it's a brilliant song. One of Paul's best loved songs, and yeah, there's recently been a music video Here, There, and Everywhere. If you're not seeing that, I highly recommend to watch that. That, as well as a Here Comes the Sun music video, which you can find on the Beatles YouTube channel. But now we're going to get into my top 5. And my number 5 is my favourite song, Magical Mystery Tour, and that's Strawberry Fields Forever. I love the song, and the fact that I've actually been to Strawberry Field when the song is based off of it. It's a very important song to John as well. He's singing about when he went to Strawberry Field, a place where he felt free, and it's probably where he felt him just being himself there, and yeah, he just felt very free going there. He loved Strawberry Field, and yeah, I love the song. It's very psychedelic, and this is another one I played at college, but I think they like this one a bit more though. But yeah, it's a brilliant song, and this is one of actually the last Beatles songs I ever heard. I saved it when I first went to Liverpool, and that was the first time I heard it. It was when I first went to Liverpool a couple of years ago. Yeah, fantastic song. What a double A side. This is Belly Lane. I mean, it's going to be one of the best singles of all time. In fact, I love it that much that I've got 2 of the same single of Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane. But yeah, it's an awesome song, and it makes it more awesome the fact that being there myself. And Ringo does fantastic drumming, and he does fantastic drumming in all of these songs. And I love the way the songs, you think the song's over and they add an extra bit to it. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, just like a day in the life, I think this is another very unique, beautiful song. Yeah. So funny, this is, yeah, Jason already mentioned that. Elderly Loaded People, some of absolute faves. Are you referring to the song by America? Because there's a man called America that got a song called Lonely People. But yeah, that's number 5, Strawberry Fields Forever. And number 4 is the title track from Let It Be, being Let It Be. Yeah, brilliant song. One of the first Beatles songs I knew. And I think it might be my sister's favourite Beatles song. I know she loved playing this song on the piano when she was younger. But yeah, it's another brilliant Beatles song. Very, very emotional one. It means a lot. The song means a lot to Paul McCartney. He's mentioned the story over and over that he had a dream. His mum spoke to him in his dream, saying everything's going to be all right, just let it be. I think Paul was in a rough place at that time. I think the Beatles needed breaking up, and yeah, it just wasn't in a great place mentally at the time. And I think that dream was all he needed, really. And yeah, just created a perfect song here, one of the greatest songs of all time. Well, it's sensational, and speaking of sensational, it's got my favorite guitar solo of all time with George Harrison's guitar solo. And I'm not talking about the single version, Let It Be, although I do love that version too, but it's the album version because it's got that incredible guitar solo by George Harrison. Although the single you do have Billy Preston playing the organ, but you've also got him playing the organ here, but it's a bit more subtle than it was in the single version, I believe. But yeah, absolutely love Let It Be. It's got some of my favourite lyrics of all time. Um, one of my favourite messages in the song. Yeah, so number 4 was Let It Be. Jason saying, Joy Fields and Here, There, Everywhere, right outside my top 10. Yeah, I think they were in your top 15 if I was right, Jason. Let It Be is my number 1. Nice to see in the top 5. Nice choice there, Brian. I give you, yeah, I agree. Give me that guitar solo, yeah. I wanted more of that guitar solo. I could listen to hours of just the guitar solo alone. Not the everything else. Well, I love everything else about the song, but that's probably the part of the song I could listen to for hours. Although the orchestration in the song is brilliant, and all the vocals are as well. But we're now into my top 3. My number 3 is Yesterday. It's also got there's a film called Yesterday as well, which I think before even the film Yesterday, I don't even think I ever knew about this song. I only knew it because of the film Yesterday. But yeah, it's one of the Beatles' best songs. It's my favorite Beatles song of the early Beatles period, I guess you could call it. Yeah, it's one of the greatest songs ever written. Just outside my top 10 songs of all time. I think there was one point where this was also my favorite Beatles song of all time. Yeah, I can't get enough of Yesterday. It's only just over 2 minutes long, which just makes it even more re-listenable. It's one of the best breakup songs. Paul did some of his best vocals and lyrics, and it's amazing the fact that it was only in his early 20s, only a couple of years older than me when he wrote the song Yesterday. And originally, well, he had a dream of the tune, and he originally was going to call it Scrambled Eggs, but obviously he wasn't going to call the whole song that. That was just what he called it at the time, it was just a nickname for it. But yeah, I love this acoustic guitar playing here, and the strings are a nice touch as well. Yeah, it's one of the greatest songs of all time. I think I already mentioned that. I'm going to mention it again. So that's my number 3. A second favorite Beatles song is a song from Rubber Soul. That is In My Life. And this was there's been a few times where I thought, is this my favorite song of all time? Is it my second favorite? It's my second favorite song of all time. My favorite John Lennon song, though, I think this is John Lennon's perfect. It's his magnum opus, this, and Imagine, I'd say, is his magnum opus. You can also throw Strawberry Fields Forever in there, and A Day in the Life as well. But yeah, I love the keyboard solo by George Martin, their producer. John does his best vocal performances. I think this is definitely one of his best vocal performances, but it's definitely got his best lyrics here. He's got so many incredible lyrics all over Rubber Soul, but this is definitely the best lyrics from the album. It's a very beautiful song, very sentimental, and it's a song that means a lot to me because when I revisited where I lived, I played this song when we were in the car, revisiting where we used to live, just to bring back memories, really. But yeah, it's a brilliant song. When I first heard, I thought it's a very good Beatles song, but I wasn't really too. I was a very casual Beatles fan at the time, though, and then after I heard all their albums, yeah, it became one of my favorite Beatles songs of all time. Yeah, Jason saying Paul was great at coming up with great songs with his dreams. Yeah, he thinks music and dreams music. So I guess we'll now move on to my favorite Beatles song, and it's 3 songs in one. I mentioned this loads of times before. This song, and it's from Abbey Road, my favorite album of all time. This is my favorite song of all time. Golden Slumbers / Carried Away / The End. Golden Slumbers got my favorite chorus in any song. I love the strings in the song and the piano playing. And Paul took parts of the song from a lullaby, and he wrote the rest of the lyrics himself. And yeah, if Golden Summers was maybe a 3-minute song, that would be my favorite song of all time. It's my favorite part of this 3-song melody, but medleys, I should say. But I love the whole opera medley. It's my favorite piece of music ever. The whole medley. I carry it away and all the singing together. Very anthemic chorus and nice callback to the song "You Never Give Me Your Money" as well, which started off the opera medley. I know a lot of people think because starting the medley, but nah, I think it's "You Never Give Me Your Money" that's starting the medley. Not very much else to say about "Carry It Away." The end, fantastic guitar playing. It goes John with Paul playing the guitar first, then George, then John. And it's sort of like a guitar battle going on. You've got Ringo's one and only drum solo. Some of his best drumming ever. In fact, I would say it's his best drumming ever. Some of the best drumming I've ever heard. Period. With that song, I love the final line, and in the end, "Love You Take is equal to love you make." Yeah, what a way to conclude it. And then of course we've got the bonus track, Her Majesty, at the end. If you do think it's cheating having that one, then I'll sing it. My Life's Number One, and my number 10 instead of Hey Jude would be 11th favorite Beatles song, which is All You Need Is Love. So let's see what's going on in the chat. I separated the songs, but I get it. Golden Summer's great, but I wish it was longer. I previous listing had 7 of the same songs on the top 10. That's very cool. So I've got 70% of your list, Jason. But yeah, there we go about the Beatles studio albums. I told you what top 10 Beatles songs are. So many incredible songs. I mean, the Beatles have had hundreds of songs, and well, a couple at least 250 songs. I think in total. Well, actually, I think it might be about 250 songs they've had in total. Probably not that many, but most of those songs I actually would give a 10 out of 10. Yeah, greatest band of all time. A lot of people's favorite bands of all time, not just myself and Jason's, but yeah, hundreds of other people as well. I'm still surprised they're not number one on Spotify. They're 128. I mean, not even in the top 100. I really don't get it. But again, you can let me know your. Well, I don't think you mentioned this in the live stream, but you can let me know your top 10 Beatles songs in the comments, giving your ranking of the Beatles albums, all that good stuff in the comments. I appreciate everyone watching, including Jason and Millennial and Brian's music showcase. I think I'll conclude the live stream in a couple of minutes. I'll just see if there's anything else to answer in the chat. Jason saying, have one of a good tangent. We'd come together a long while ago with top 10. Yeah, there was still incredible stuff. One of the good tangent weeks. It just outside the top 20, and we've come together as my 50th favourite Beatles song. I know you probably shocked about that, Jason, because I know it's in your top 10. Yeah, it's only in my top 50. But yeah, I enjoyed going through all that. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while. I wanted to do it as a video and do it into 2 parts. Part 1 be 10 to 6, part 2 5 to 1. But now I want to do it as a live stream. It's a weird coincidence that it was a couple of days after Jason doing his live stream on his top 10 Beatles songs. It was just happened to be that way. But yeah, please go ahead and check out the Beatles YouTube channel if you've not done so already, and check out a couple of their music videos, such as For Something and Here, There and Everywhere. Please watch Jason's live stream, his top 10 Beatles songs. It's just over an hour long, so it's not too long of a live stream to watch. I think that's really what I say here. We got my Penny Lane jumper on. We got a peace necklace on. Yeah, I'm in the Beatles and peace and love mood today. But there's another live stream ticked off my list. One of the ones I wanted to do the most, and hopefully you all enjoy watching it. I guess I'll conclude the live stream here. peace and love. And in the end, the love you make is equal to love you. Or hang on, let's get it right. And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Until next time, keep listening to the Beatles, and ciao. Peace and love.